Good morning and welcome to a lovely day at Dawlish. February 2014 was a time that many of us will not forget. Devon and Cornwall were cut off from the country as more than 20,000 tonnes of material fell onto the railway line just around the coast from here at Holcombe, and the sea battered the wall at Dawlish, leaving nothing but the railway line suspended in mid-air. Through a huge effort across the railway industry and with the unwavering support of government, we rebuilt the line in just 6 weeks. A heroic effort by our teams in Orange, becoming known as the Orange Army in Dawlish's B&Bs, its cafes and the world famous Dawlish Beach Camera. The difficulties experienced in keeping people moving despite there being no railway line were impressive, and I'd like to pay tribute to my rail colleagues in cross country, joined by Tom Joyner today, and GWR with Matt Golton, whose teams kept the logistics of the railway in operation. We brought in world-leading experts on flooding, on climate change, on sea defences, on geotechnical engineering to develop and build the best solution for the town, the best solution for the peninsula, and the best solution for the railway. Now, my thanks in particular to Anne-Marie Morris, MP, and Councillor Andrea Davis, representing the Peninsula Rail Task Force, who have been steadfast supporters of our work from the very start. With their support, we gained planning approval from Cambridge District Council just a little over a year ago to start work on the new sea wall. With our contractors, BAM, we have built a new 360 metre long wall made up of 145 concrete panels and recurves to send the waves crashing back to the sea. As we put the finishing touches to this part of the scheme with lighting and surfaces and benching, I'm really glad to say this was not the end of our resilience work in Dawlish. Just last month, councillors, by an overwhelming majority, voted to approve the next part of the seawall. This next stage, phase 2, will go from the Colonnade Bridge to the Coast Guards, taking in Dawlish Station 2. For this, we've designed a new footbridge with lifts so that passengers carrying luggage and pushchairs or of limited mobility can more easily traverse between the platforms at Dawlish Station. This will benefit everyone, residents, tourists and passengers, and shows the railway's commitment to the town of Dawlish and the passengers therein.
So the image of the Dawlish rope bridge in February 2014 went right around the world, didn't it? And I remember seeing that image for the first time. I'm sure many of you do too. A railway line left dangling in mid-air, and the thriving communities of Devon and Cornwall disconnected from the rest of the UK network, and it really was devastating, and to use a phrase that we hear quite a lot these times, unprecedented in living memory. And of course, as Mike said, Network Rail's Orange Army, massive Orange Army, got going day and night to reconnect the railway and to put it back. And while they were doing that, Great Western and Cross Country, we put on one of the biggest bus operations that this railway industry has ever seen. Moving passengers, keep them going. We brought staff from all over the country to make that bus operation happen. It was really a cross-industry effort. I'm really glad that Tom joined us with us today, and we can say thank you to Cross Country for what they did as part of that. But it wasn't just the customers that we had to keep moving. We had to keep the trains going as well. So with the seawall gone, we have our major train care maintenance facility down at Plymouth, and we had all their high-speed trains, well, most of them up the other end of the country. So what we had to do was take our engineers, and many of them went up to London for 3 months away from their families to help maintain the trains up there, and they did a great job. And occasionally you'd see going down the A38, you'd see locomotives on the back of low loaders because we had to bring them back to Plymouth to maintain them as well. It wasn't easy, but we did it because that's what we are. We are a railway family. We get together and we make things happen. And of course, whilst all of that was going on, whilst the railway was being rebuilt and while we were moving passengers, we were beginning to have a discussion with the Department of Transport, with local politicians, local stakeholders, even the Prime Minister's office, about building back better. Yes, we had that before more recent use of it. But what came out of that was the Peninsula Rail Task Force. And I'm really, really pleased that Anne-Marie Morris and Councillor Andrea Davis is with us today, because a new resilience plan was developed, led by Network Rail, but shaped and toned by the tenacity of local politicians, local businesses, really looking at how we could make sure that from that immediate repair work, we got a solution that was sustainable for the local and regional economies. And the collaboration between national government, local businesses to be able to get this first stage built has been fabulous. And it is a first stage, but it's a brilliant first stage, because what it says is the Dawlish railway line is here. It's here for keeps. It's not going to go away. And it says that Devon and Cornwall will remain really, really well connected. They will thrive because the railway's here. And most importantly, the sensible people in the UK who decide to come down to Devon and Cornwall by railway will be able to see this glorious image. And I hope that train that's going by have got some sensible people on it. In my opinion, there is no better way to arrive in Devon and Cornwall than by train. So I just want to say a heartfelt thank you to my colleagues at Great Western, heartfelt thank you to colleagues at Cross Country, heartfelt thank you to our local politicians and all those who've represented local businesses. But especially today, I want to say a big thank you to our friends and colleagues at Network Rail Western and to the Orange Army for what you've achieved. It's a brilliant job, and it's a brilliant job that's going to more than stand the test of time. So thank you very much.
Good day everybody, and thank you very much indeed for inviting me here to see this £25 million worth of investment behind me. It's part of the commitment the government has to levelling up our country. It's part of the commitment the government wants to make to the people of Devon and Cornwall to say that we know that levelling up means the whole country, not just certain parts of it. But it also is a testament to a whole group of people that you've had named already today. But I'll just name check a few of them, because Andrea, who I've met previously, has been a stalwart in trying to make sure that government hears the voices of the Peninsula Railway Forum properly. The wonderful, amazing Orange Army that built this concrete, majestic wall behind us, which will protect the people and place of Dawlish for years and years to come. To BAM, who employ them, because BAM they've had to deal with all sorts of excitement, including a pandemic in their delivery of all this. To Network Rail for coordinating, to Cross Country, to Great Western, but particularly, and as a politician you probably would expect me to say this, but my first impression after I saw the pictures back in February 2014, the shocking pictures of what was left behind after the weather Mother Nature had seen to Dawlish in the way that she did, was the next picture was of Anne-Marie Morris standing up in the House of Commons, traipsing down to number 10 Downing Street, knocking on doors of the Treasury to make sure that the money for all these improvements was guaranteed by the government going forward. And it's just part of what's coming, because obviously we've talked about the next bit, and I've got to say thank you to the local people of Dawlish too for their patience and believing in this project, because that seawall will extend further to protect them in the future, to protect the railway, and to protect this really vital economic cord that connects the southwest to the rest of the United Kingdom. So it is with great thanks and great pleasure that we're going to do this opening ceremony. Thank you very much. Is it just me? Is there no one else coming? That's it. Are you ready, Kurt? Well, I suppose, do I declare it open or do I declare it?